Hello guys, welcome, and Lunatic Lapras here. Welcome to the second episode of Pokemon Explanations. Today I am gonna explain everything about Duraldon. So without any delay, let's get started. Duraldon, the alloy Pokemon, which is number 884 on the national dex. Duraldon is a Steel and Dragon type Pokemon introduced in Gen 8. Duraldon is based on a metallic building which surprisingly has not too much weight. I mean, it's based on a building made of metal which is too light. Duraldon also looks like a firelighter, and when it opens its mouth it looks like it's gonna light fire from its mouth. Duraldon is a high metal building that seems to be made by mixing steel and copper. That's why it's called alloy Pokemon. Alloy means or represents the mixing or combination of two metals. As I said, Duraldon is made by mixing steel and copper. Duraldon's origins represents the very high and large buildings in Britain which are made of alloy and copper. Duraldon has a base stat total of 535 with a magnificent 120 special attack, 115 defense with a pretty nice 90 attack and 85 speed. And an OK HP of 70 and a pretty bad special defense of 50. Now you must be surprised at how in the world could be a building made of copper and steel can have 85 speed. Yeah, as I mentioned above, that it's surprisingly not too much heavy. That's why it can move faster. Duraldon also has an Gigantamax form which now raises its weight and makes it a sky-high metallic building. I really like its Gigantamax form as it looks like a sky-high building. Duraldon resists 9 types out of 18. The types that Duraldon resists are normal, water, electric, grass, flying, psychic, bug, rock, and steel. It's also immune to poison. And it's only weak to fighting and ground. It's also strong against dragon, ice, fairy, and rock. Now let's take a look at Duraldon's moveset. In Gen 8, Duraldon had an awesome moveset, as you can see in the screen. The best possible special steel type move it can get by leveling up is Flash Cannon, which has a 80 base power, and as it cannot learn any special dragon type move by leveling up, it can learn a special dragon type move by TR, which is Dragon Pulse, which has a base 85 power. And the fact that Duraldon can learn Hyper Beam by leveling up, which is level 66. It's really interesting, because only a few Pokemon can learn Hyper Beam by leveling up and others learn it by TMs. And as Duraldon is not till now seen in the Sword and Shield anime, so we don't know and can't talk it about how it's in the anime. Now let's take a look at its weight, height, and ability. Duraldon has a height of 1.8 meters, which is surprisingly not too high. And a weight of only 50 kg or 88.2 pounds. As I mentioned above, that it's surprisingly too light compared to its size and origins. Duraldon has two pretty good abilities that are light metal and heavy metal. Both of these abilities were introduced in Gen 5. Light metal ability lowers the user's weight matching to the opponent's weight, as there are some moves whose attack raises if both the enemy and the user has same weight, so light metal raises attack of this type of moves by lowering the user's weight. And heavy metal does the complete opposite of light metal, as it raises the weight of the user. Now there are also some moves like Heat Crash or Body Press, which is used by a Pokemon which has more weight than the opponent, than its power will be raised. Now the last things are its Pokédex entries. Duraldon's Sword Pokédex entry says, its body resembles polished metal, and it's both lightweight and strong. The only drawback is that it rusts easily. It means Duraldon has a very polished metal, and as you know, polishing the metal lights its weight. That's why it's light and has also an awesome stats. But its only disadvantage is that it rusts very easily. As we all know that polished metals rusts and even melts very easily. Now its shield entry says, the special metal which composes its body is very light. So the Pokemon has considerable agility. It lives in caves as it dislikes rain. So now we finally understood why Duraldon is so light. Because as it's made of a metal which is too light, its weight is also very low, and that's why it has a decent speed. And as somehow it dislikes rain, so it lives in caves. So now we have finally covered everything about Duraldon. So if you like the video, subscribe the channel and be sure to like for more Pokemon Explanations episodes. I will see you in the next episode, and bye bye. Be sure to subscribe.